Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP Envy x360 convertible model 15m-es1023dx. Alright, the model number is really tiny right there. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and open this up. It's having some issues with Windows. I'm pretty sure it's the SSD, so we're going to start removing all these screws. Oh, I forgot to mention there was a rubber foot here. I already took that out. We're using a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to remove these screws, and you want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that. All right, so yeah, I put them in that same pattern. So you got two here, and then there's two more hidden under here, and then these two screws here. All right, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. But yeah, other than that, let's go ahead and continue getting this stuff out. Also, the adhesive, it's like a double-sided, like kind of thick plastic. So when you go to peel these rubber feet off, you want to make sure that when you peel it up, that the plastic portion also comes up with it. So if it doesn't, you might have to go in and peel that up as well. You can use like a little pry tool or something to scrape it up. I just use my fingernails. All right, we're gonna now switch over to a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver, and we're gonna remove these two here. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove those. All right, and let me go grab the other rubber piece that I took out so that I have it here when I go to reassemble this thing. All right, I'll be back in a bit. All right, I'm back. So here's the other rubber piece. Obviously I peeled it out and we're gonna have to put it back later. Okay, so I don't know if there's a specific, okay, there's a specific side. So I always like to try and put it back the same way. You can tell this one has a little circle close to the screw. This one is far away. So that's how you know which way that rubber piece went. Okay. All right, anyways, now that we got all the screws out, there were only two on this one. We're gonna go ahead and pop this out. This cover is actually really difficult to get out. I'm gonna get my fingernails in the edge here, and then while I'm doing that, I'm gonna push with my thumb here to try and pop the cover, okay? You can see it's kind of popping out. You don't wanna push on the touchpad, so we're gonna skip over that and then continue working our way over. You can see now we have a gap there. Okay, now that we have that gap, I'm gonna keep my fingernails kind of in there, and let's see, we're gonna try and pop this out, and we're gonna lift, and I'm gonna slide my fingernail in here. Actually, that's not gonna work. So let's see here. I think what I had to do last time was I had to work on removing the back first. So the back kind of has like a gap. You can get like a tool or something in there, and then we're gonna try and pull that up. Okay, so I'm gonna pull on that, and I'm gonna push on here and see if we can pop these clips. There we go. This one is really difficult to get out, so if you're wondering, all right, I'm keeping my finger in here and then I'm pushing down, so it kind of flexes it this way to pull the clips in, and you can see there it went. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing over to this side. Okay, and there's clips in the center as well. Once you kind of get all the outer edges out, you kind of have to like kind of pull it and push and pull to kind of wiggle it to get that out. So there we go. Here's one clip here and another clip here. And they actually grab that way. So actually you want to kind of try and slide it that way. Oh, what is this plastic piece? There's all these random plastic bits here that are just falling out. I think it came from here. You see they bent this piece here. So I think this plastic actually is broken off from there. Yeah. So it has less clips. I'm going to see if I could somehow super glue this back. I see it connects to this part here and then it goes there. I don't know if it's going to hold, but let's give it a shot. All right. Get some super glue, and we're going to put very little. Super glue, you don't need a lot. You need very little, actually. So we're just going to try and barely just get some on there. Okay, that's probably already too much on that spot. Hopefully it's not going to stick to my finger, because super glue on the finger sucks. All right, we're gonna flip this over, and I know most people aren't gonna have this broken, but we're just gonna fix it anyways. We'll touch that to there and touch this to here. don't think it's gonna work. Okay, and then super glue usually takes about 30 seconds to set. You just keep constant pressure on it. I'm gonna wipe out the excess. Okay, get a piece of paper towel and wipe the excess just so it doesn't stick onto everything. Okay, we're just gonna hold this for a few seconds. You can fast forward over, obviously, if you don't care about this part, because most people aren't gonna have to fix this kind of thing. But I just want to document everything that I work on and what I have to do. All right, there's some glue in that little square. All right, so that's probably gonna be good enough. You can see it's kind of stuck on there. It's probably gonna end up coming out again later just because that thing's bent and it's not sticking well, but we'll set that aside for now. Okay, so here is the computer. We'll get a thumbnail or screenshot. All right, I did notice there's signs of like liquid damage here, so I don't know, the customer's having issues with it booting, but it seems like hopefully it's just the SSD. Okay, I'm gonna clean this dust out here. And this model is very similar to one of the other ones I worked on, which is almost the same exact model number, but instead of a 23dx, it's 13dx or something. Also, this little piece, you can see it's not sticking down. It was just rolling around inside the computer, so I don't know if that caused any weird issues, but that's where it was, so I'm gonna, or that's where it's supposed to be, so I'm just gonna put it back there. Okay, I don't know, whatever adhesive they use there, it's not very good. All right, I'm just gonna quickly show the internal components. We are just gonna be replacing the SSD, but let's go ahead and pull the battery out just to be safe, or at least not out, but disconnect it. So there's the connector here, it has these wings. I'm just gonna use my fingernails and kind of just wiggle. All right, and it will slowly walk out. It's kind of hard to pull this connector, so you just have to keep wiggling it. There we go, and you can see it popped out. All right, so we're gonna get that out. I'm pretty sure it also acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery, so keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna press and hold the power button to drain any residual power. You wanna hold this for about 15 seconds. This makes it a lot safer to work on the computer, especially if you're gonna do anything with the screen. In this case, we're not doing anything with the screen, but I'll just show it anyways, okay? So usually if you're just changing the RAM or SSD, you don't need to do that step. But in this case, they have all these metal covers here, so I just wanna be a little extra safe. There's the the wireless card here with the antennas. There's this little plastic thing that's stuck on with like an adhesive. You'd have to peel that off. If you want to see how to remove the antennas, you can watch some of my other videos. I show it on those. There's the DC jack charge port connector here. It's underneath the hinge, so you do have to remove the hinge, or at least undo the hinge screws and open this up slightly to pull that out. It looks like it's connected underneath the logic port there, but I think you can remove that without taking the logic port out. You have a little connector here, most likely for the microphones and the webcam. Then underneath here is not really anything you can do. Battery connector here. Battery is BN03XL, so if you need a new battery, there you go. There's the connector here for the, wait, what is that for? FP1, okay, so fingerprint sensor. All right, you got this connector, most likely for the touchpad or trackpad. Yep, T-pad 1. Keyboard connector here. There's a flip latch. Like all of these have these little flip latches. And actually you can see a lot of like corrosion there, it looks like. Then you got the keyboard backlight connector here. All right. M.2 PCIe NVMe SSDs here. There's 2 slots for RAM there. I'll open that in a bit. And you got a speaker connector here, which has a cable from that speaker to the other one there. All right, LCD LVDS connectors right there, and then you have a little cable here, which I'm not sure what that is, but it's going under there. Let me see if I can see anything. Yeah, I'm not too sure what that's for. That might be a sensor for detecting when the screen is open or closed, but I can't tell. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and clean this up a little because there is all this corrosion everywhere. You don't want to leave that. At least least not on the little connectors. So I'm flipping the latches up and then brushing it off. All right, the touchpad connector had a lot on it. All right. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the SSD here. It's an M.2, again, PCIe NVMe. We're using the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. We'll remove that screw. Now that we've removed the screw, we can lift this up. It can be a little tricky because it's like just a box, but lift this up slightly, and then we're actually gonna have to pull this back. Oh, there are little clips here that hold this metal plate down, so pull that up. You can see now that came out, and we can flip that over. All right, we can now lift this slightly. Don't lift it too high, and then pull this back. And there you go. This is an Intel Optane. It's 32 gigs of Optane memory and 512 gigs flash. I don't know what's so good about Intel Optane. I see them always fail, and I don't think they're really much faster than regular SSDs. So yeah, don't bother. I see the Intel Optanes fail too much for them to even be worth the trouble. Okay, under here is the RAM slots. There's all this adhesive stuff holding these things in. This can be a pain. You need to get something thin to get underneath this little metal cover here. And you got to hold the board down, and then you can kind of pry this up. There you go. Okay, it's not easy to get this out. You do need a really thin tool. Yeah, I mean, my fingernails work, but for most people, you're not gonna have fingernails that can do that, right? So we're gonna pull this side up as well. Okay, and the little metal clips go all the way around, so you kind of have to lift all around it. I'm gonna get over here as well, and then lift that, and there we go. So now we got this metal bracket over. We can flip these two to the side, pull these two tabs to the side. This pops up, and this is an 8 gig PC4 3200 AA stick of RAM. So you should be fine with any PC4 3200 AA RAM. If you want, you can upgrade to two 16 gig sticks. If they have 32 gig sticks, you can probably even do two 32 gig sticks. All right, anyways, we'll flip the RAM cover back over. You want to line up the things with these little metal clips down here. Line up the sides and the front, and then you can go ahead and push the rest down. Usually if you line that up, then the back should also be lined up automatically. So line that all up there, and then we'll just push this all down to clip it all back into place. Okay, you can actually feel all of it kind of gripping. All right, so we're replacing the SSD. The customer brought this 990 Evo, so let's go ahead and get this out of the box. And we're just gonna reinstall it over there. Okay, so hopefully the SSD was the only issue and the other components are okay. I mean, you do see that liquid corrosion, so hopefully that's not actually causing the problem. All right, so SSD goes in at an angle like this. Make sure you get it in the slot. All right, push that in. Okay, I like to kind of pinch both so that it kind of has, it's not just shoving this whole connector off the board, and that looks good. We're gonna flip this back over. Again, line up the little clips on the sides there, and then push that down, and we have this into place. All right, now we'll just get the screw back in. All right. If you're wondering how to take the other components out, again, if you watch enough of my videos, you'll be able to figure it out. The speakers don't actually have any screws. They're just held in with these rubber things. You can actually pull it straight up. But yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom out. Let me see if I can actually test the boot. I'm going to try and get, let me get my Windows USB installer, and then I'm going to test that real quick. All right, hopefully the battery actually holds a charge, because when he brought it, it was completely dead. So I'm going to get this connected back into place. So you do have to kind of get it just right. Make sure it goes in straight. You don't want to bend the pins inside the connector. And then I like to, again, pinch both sides to kind of, so it's not just shoving the whole connector off the board. All right, let me go grab the USB, bootable USB, and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and give this a shot. I'm gonna open this up. Get the USB in. And power it on. And to start this up, or to choose the boot device, you would press F9 on boot. It's probably going to complain that the BIOS was reset. I do see the power light on this on, so it should be on. probably going to complain that the BIOS was reset. It might take a while, so give it some time. If for some reason it still doesn't boot up, it might be the RAM might be loose or faulty, so we'll give it some time. The fan is spinning. I'll brush off some of the dust here. Okay, the fan stopped spinning. Did it stop turning on? The power light's still on, so it's still doing something. I hope it's not the RAM. Then I'm gonna... Actually, I don't even know. It could be the liquid damage. But let's see. Nothing's still happening. The power light is still on. But nothing is happening on the screen. I hear some like high-pitched squeaking in here. Come on. Power up. Yeah, I'm worried that the moisture, whatever that liquid residue. Oh, there we go. Okay, see, it just took forever. Now it gives this message about CMOS is invalid because basically the BIOS was reset since we disconnected the battery. We'll press enter. And now we'll press F9. Okay, it should be starting up soon. There we go, change boot order. Okay, and I can boot from my USB. I don't know if they had Windows 10 or Windows 11 on here, but I'm booting my Windows USB installer. There's so much glare. Let me turn off this light real quick. Is that better? I don't know. Okay. Let's see if it can see the SSD. Gonna go to next. Install now. Sometimes if it doesn't see the SSD, there's like a Intel VMD setting that needs to be turned off. Sometimes it's in like RAID mode and you need to change it to SATA or AHCI. And sometimes you need the driver because it doesn't have all those settings. All right, I'm gonna accept the license terms. Custom, you can see there's no SSD. We'll go to load driver, we'll browse. I saved the drivers here with the Intel VMD, so I'm gonna try and load this and see if it will show the SSD after that. If it doesn't detect the drivers after all of that, oh, there you go. Now we can see the 1 terabyte. Now you would just install the OS like normally. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna do the Windows install off camera because you don't really need to see that. You just follow the prompts and just install. So let's go ahead and put this thing back together. All right, so we got that. Let's put this thing back on there. Even though it's just gonna move around. I think I'm gonna put some capped on tape to just hold this in place. Okay, because I don't want this thing just rolling all over the place. So I'm gonna use some of this heat-proof masking tape, and I'm just gonna hold that thing down in place so it doesn't move all over that place. Okay. Shouldn't need too much. Alright, stick that there. Hold that down in place. And maybe just stick it up here. It's not really sticking. Well, that should be better than what it was before. All right. We'll get the bottom cover back on. Just line everything up. And then push on the edges to get the little clips to click back in. I like to push it in towards the center at the same time as I'm pushing it down. Okay. And then make sure you clip the center as well. And there we go. Let's get all these screws back in. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Again, every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, let's go ahead and get this finished up. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Alright. Get that back in. I kind of hate how HP does this because these rubber things, they always stretch a little and then they don't sit down as nice as before. And usually after some time the rubber piece will just come out. Alright. Last few screws. Flip this over. Alright, and then let's stick this back on. I like to start with the outer edge on both sides. That way if it is stretched, you can push the excess, you can see how it's like bowing up like that, in towards the center, okay? This can actually move a little more over. There we go. And then you just push all the excess in towards the center. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Let's drop this.